Welcome to another episode of Net Wins. The formula ranks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number one all time. The numbers surprised me. Every generation forgets its own giants. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the NBA's all-time leading scorer. He won 6 MVP awards, more than anyone else in the history of the league. He played 20 seasons, won 6 championships across 2 franchises, and was still a meaningful contributor at 41 years old. He stood alongside Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown at the intersection of the civil rights movement and professional basketball, using his platform in ways that cost him commercially and never once apologized for it. And yet, when you ask a casual basketball fan to rank the greatest players of all time, Kareem is rarely the first name out of their mouth. Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Shaq. He drifts down the list in popular memory despite the fact that the statistical record is ambiguous. That's what the formula's for. It doesn't have a memory. It doesn't care what the highlights looked like or whose face was on the poster. It measures one thing: how much did this player's actions contribute to winning and losing, calibrated against what it actually costs their team to do both. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 144 combined net wins, 20 seasons, number one all time. Tim Duncan is number two at 143.5. The gap is smaller than I expected. Everything else about the formula and what it found surprised me. I expected Kareem to rank first on career totals. 20 seasons of elite production is an almost impossible accumulation to overcome, and the formula rewards longevity when longevity comes with sustained quality. A player who produces 6 net wins per season for 20 years will outscore a player who produces 10 net wins for 10 years. Kareem's contribution of volume and duration made the career total feel like a foregone conclusion. What I did not expect was the peak. Kareem's second, third, and fourth years in the league produced net win totals that the formula has never seen from any other player in the database. The 1970-71 Milwaukee Bucks, who went 66-16, he had 13.01 net wins. In 71-72, when they were 63-19, he had 12.64 net wins. And in 1972-73, when they went 60-22, he produced 10.02 net wins. Those numbers are not normal. To put them in context, Michael Jordan's best single season in this database is 11.48. LeBron James peaks at 11.46. Larry Bird's best is 11.32. Kareem's second year in the league produced a number that no other player in 80 years of NBA history has matched. The 1971 Bucks went 66-16 and won the championship. Kareem was 23 years old. He averaged 31.7 points, 16 rebounds, and 3.3 assists on a team where the second best player was Oscar Robertson, himself one of the greatest of all time in the final years of his career. The formula sees a 23-year-old operating at a level of efficiency so far above his team's winning standard that his individual contribution registers as nearly impossible. His rookie season in 1969-1970 produced 8.09 net wins. In the context of the full database, that's an outstanding season. It's not even in Kareem's top 5. The public memory of Kareem tends to be organized around the Showtime Lakers, the Magic Johnson era, the championships, the Hollywood franchise. That framing is understandable. The Lakers were glamorous. Magic was ascending. The 1980s were when basketball became a television phenomenon. But the formula sees something the highlights don't show. The Milwaukee years were Kareem at his absolute ceiling. From 69 to 1975, playing for a small market franchise in Wisconsin with limited national exposure, Kareem put up 5 of his top 6 net wins seasons. The lone interruption was 1974 to 75, his final year in Milwaukee, before demanding a trade. The Bucks went 38-44 that season, and the formula logged his only negative year at minus 0.4, a direct reflection of what happens when the win-loss context collapses around a player. He was 27 years old, already 4 seasons into what have been considered a complete Hall of Fame career when he left for Los Angeles. The trade was controversial. The city of Milwaukee was devastated. The basketball world saw it as Kareem choosing glamour over loyalty. What they got in Los Angeles was the second act that most players never achieve in their first. Magic Johnson's rookie year in 1979 to 1980 produced 9.68 net wins for Kareem. That's his 4th best season. He was 32 years old. That is the season the historical narrative tends to hand to Magic. The Lakers went 60-22. Magic famously started at center in Game 6 of the Finals with Kareem injured and scored 42 points. It became one of the defining moments of the decade. Magic Johnson was named Finals MVP. The formula is indifferent to Game 6. It sees the entire season. What it sees is a 32-year-old Kareem producing at a rate comparable to what LeBron James produced in his prime on the same team as Magic Johnson in his first year, when the public narrative was already beginning to shift toward his younger teammate. From 1979 through 1987, Kareem never had a season below 5.79 net wins. He won 4 championships in that stretch. He won the MVP award in 1980 at age 32, becoming the oldest MVP in league history at that point. He was named Finals MVP in 1985 at 37, the oldest player ever to win that award. His 18th season in the league, 1986 to 87, produced 7.31 net wins. He was 39 years old. The formula shows him contributing at an elite level, not he's still useful for his age level. By a net win standard, that season's better than the best seasons of Clyde Drexler, Reggie Miller, and Gary Payton, all Hall of Famers in their prime years. There's a few reasons Kareem drifts from the top of the conversation. The most obvious is that he wasn't particularly interested in being remembered on other people's terms. He didn't court the media, didn't perform for cameras, didn't build the kind of charismatic public persona that makes athletes permanently visible in the cultural memory. Magic was warm and open. Jordan was competitive and electric. Shaq was funny. LeBron is omnipresent. Kareem was private, intellectual, politically engaged, and unwilling to perform happiness for public consumption. He was also politically present in ways that made him a complicated figure commercially during his career and in the decades since. He stood with Muhammad Ali when Ali refused military induction. He boycotted the '68 Olympics before they were famous for boycotts. He converted to Islam in 1971 and changed his name from Lou Alcindor, which cost him endorsements and generated real hostility from a country not yet ready to see a prominent black athlete make that choice publicly. He spoke and wrote about race in America with a directness that made people uncomfortable then and still does now. None of that shows up in the formula, but all of it explains why his career is persistently undervalued in the popular imagination. 20 seasons, 6 MVP awards, 6 championships, the all-time scoring record by a margin that stood for 38 years before LeBron broke it in 2023. Combined net wins 144. That number is the accumulation of 1,560 regular season games, each one measured against what his team needed to win on that specific night, normalized against what it cost them every time they lost. It's not a tribute. It doesn't know about the skyhook or the championships or the activism or the decades of being underappreciated in his own legacy. It just counts. And when you count everything, every game, every season, every team, every era, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is first. The surprise wasn't the career total, it was the peak. A 3-year stretch in Milwaukee that the formula rates as the highest sustained individual performance in 80 years of professional basketball. A 23-year-old on a team in a small city playing at a level the numbers have never seen before or since. We forgot about it. The formula didn't.